Jon Ritchie, James Seltzer in for Joe DeCamara. The Eagles played so poorly last night, Joe DeCamara couldn't even show up to work today.
Made him sick.
Yeah, I made all of us sick. Just an awful loss last night. I didn't think that it could get worse than blowing a 21-point lead in the second half. And Dallas, who knew that on national television Monday Night Football they could one-up themselves? I think the single worst game in the career of Jalen Hurts. Jon Ritchie, I'm not going to say good morning. I'm going to say hello. Hello.
Hi, Jimmy. We had 25 run plays. Fact of the day, 25 run plays. They had 38 run plays.
Hate that fact.
Hate
it.
That led to about a 9-minute difference. about a 9-minute difference in time of possession.
Sure, yeah, it felt that way.
And you know where that matters is when we're heading into overtime, and I'm thinking, why didn't we run the ball and kick it as time expires? Why didn't we use the clock to our advantage at some point in this game? But the fact of the matter, yes, Jalen could not have played worse, seemingly. And the thing that really troubled me last night was I thought I saw a difference in the way he applied himself. The overtime burst was different than the regular duration burst. And that's a problem. Dude, the guy across the way is 6'6" and like gawky basketball guy.
With a broken hand.
With a broken hand that just had to have plates and screws put in it a week ago, and he's leading his team in rushing.
He won them the game with his legs.
Absolutely he did. He's a big part of why that rushing game chewed clock, why they controlled that game. His rushing. Jalen.
What the hell?
That's supposed to be you, man. That's supposed to be your forte. That's supposed to be the way we can just milk the clock to our advantage, which I quite honestly have not seen enough ever. The way the 2-minute abuse, the lack of clock utilization. How about the fact last night Nick told Lisa Salters that the team played with confidence and joy.
That was it. I don't know if I've ever seen a coach just
me confidence
shine
and joy.
On an interviewer more than that. It was just
that's the only thing that gave me confidence and joy last night.
Was laughing at that?
Just laughing at the ridiculousness of that statement. Jalen's game was so off. He turned it over 5 times. Jalen, for him, that's a season.
It was the most uncharacteristic Jalen Hurts game we've ever. Richie, think about this. Jalen Hurts, Mr. Don't Turn It Over, is now the only player in recorded NFL history to have 2 turnovers on the same play. He's the guy who has that record now, and it's Jalen.
So why is it at times the coaching staff didn't take some of that off of him? I'm not saying it's all Jalen.
100%.
It is a lot Jalen. But last night, when Jalen's piling them up, man, and you can see he's missing guys. You can see he's missing guys with the ball when he sees them. You can see he's just not seeing guys. He's picking this side, and guys are coming open. It was just a bad
the one play, how
situational
did he not see
game
the guy
all around.
Drop into coverage. He's a large
D-tackle.
man.
To your point, I think that's the worst Jalen's ever seen.
Vision when you're smaller, I guess. That sort of thing happens. But that sort of thing happens to Tom Brady, 6'5" in the pocket. Those zone blitzes when you got a nose tackle dropping out, you don't expect a guy right there. So, no, bad play, but he's a 300-pound gigantor. Open your eyes, bud. But then at the same time, you see, so you're racking your brains like, Jalen, what is wrong with your game? Why can't you give me that burst that I just saw in overtime? The overtime burst that I don't know, Justin Herbert's been giving his team the whole game, but what's wrong? What they didn't run the ball enough to beat us. I made the note last night. The Chargers did not run the ball enough to beat us entering overtime. They could have, they should have, but they didn't. You know, they were sticking with it. They were sticking with it more, and then all of a sudden in overtime, they really revved it full force. We're gonna run the football. You know, they declared their plan. They asserted their physical dominance. They proved to the world that they were the, tougher team. That's what Jim Harbaugh set out to do from the very beginning, which, I do think that wins. When I see Jalen turn the ball over that way, I know that's not his intention. I know that he at times gets way, way too overprotective of the football. But I don't. It's hard for me to hold it against him and say we can no longer consider Jalen the best choice for this team, because I know it's going to go there. It should not go there.
It was going there during the game, yeah.
It should not go there, because then you see the glimpses of what Jalen can do when he's really digging in. Like in overtime, when Jalen was, the extra oomph on the accelerator, and you saw the burst when Jalen was finding the guys downfield, when Jalen was putting that ball right in AJ's hands in the end zone. There were some beautiful plays that just made you say, oh my gosh, that is why Jalen's our quarterback. But why can't it be more consistent? Why does that come with 5 turnovers last night? What did the Chargers do so well that made you falter? He looked a mess the entire night.
He was awful. He had a couple, like the Devontae throw, obviously, in overtime was one of the great throws. It was like a miracle. It was like nothing all night, and then that throw comes out. Yeah. He had some moments, but he was horrendous last night. And I agree with you. We'll get into this whole game. Look, 215-592-9494. There are days that are meant for callers to call into WIP and air their thoughts. Today is absolutely one of those days. Get on the line now. We're going to be taking a lot of calls today. But, John, to your point, we're going to get into the coaching, because I agree. I thought they did nothing to help him on a night where it was clear that Jalen wasn't confident. That to your point, I thought he just wasn't seeing the field. Like his vision last night, his vision of what was going to happen, of where players were going, of what he was seeing was just off. He had no confidence as a quarterback, and they decided, let's throw the ball more. Why would we hand it to Saquon when that seems to be the only thing all night working? That and Dallas Goedert. If they had just handed the ball to Saquon and thrown it to Goddard all night, I would have been fine with it compared to everything else they did. We'll get into the A.J. Brown of it all, because, look, I mean, when you talk crap for 7 weeks to start the season, and then you get your opportunities at big spots, and you don't come through, and we'll get into the alligator arm one, because I know people are going to talk about it. There was so much last night to be furious about, and John, like going into that game, I said it yesterday, and I feel this way. I went in last night needing to see something. I needed to see something from Jalen and from this offense to have confidence. Yeah. No matter what the schedule looks like, I know they can beat the Raiders and Washington. I think, who knows?
I know they'll be a playoff team.
Right.
I have no faith they'll win past the first round.
And that's the problem, John. After last night, I have no faith that at this point in the season, after all the downs and we're going to get up and fight back, I just don't believe it anymore. And it's a shame, John, because I thought about this 50 times last night, that this league is wide open this year, and we have a championship-ready defense. Like, that defense is good enough. I know they've had their issues, but for the most part, like, you can win with the defense they put out there. And outside of a big missed kick last night, you can win with the special teams this team has. They have it's not even below average. They have a flat-out bad offense. And, John, I don't know how you win with this group right now.
It is bad. The numbers are... stunning. When they put them up, when they put the graphics up on the television last night, the drop from last season It was
it's stunning.
We went from second in rush yards per game this season to 22nd. Yards per rush, we were 5th last year to 24th. Points per game, we were 7th last year. Now we're 19th. The third down conversions, that's one of those stats that every team I was ever on, the coaches really stressed. Third down conversions. Last year we were 10th. Now we're 28th. That's terrible offense. That is losing football. You're 28th in the NFL at converting third downs. That means you can't keep drives alive. You keep drives alive. You don't keep the sticks moving. You punt and you hope for big plays. And the total, like I was saying, with the rushing yardage, for me the biggest difference that nets out with is they controlled the clock. And we were unable to do that. I was so frustrated. I wish that game didn't go to overtime. I wish that we would have just 4-minute offensed it and controlled the clock and run the football because we had the ball. We were very capable of doing this.
Oh, and one more first down and they would have won the game.
2 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever it was left and just roll on the ground. 1 first down, maybe 2. And then
one, at least they get it back with like 20-something seconds left, 30 seconons, no timeouts to try and get a field goal. Like, you're in really great shape if you can get one more first down.
And that's it. And we were unable to do that. And I don't know why.
That's been the theme of the season, John. All year, they've not been able to put games away. They've not been able to bury teams when they have to because they can't do it with the running game like they did last year. Yeah. And that's been an Achilles heel for this team because that's why we've had two of their losses this year were like 17 and 21 point second half leads. Denver was at 17 in the fourth quarter. It's because they can't seal these games out, and it's a massive problem with the way this team is built. All right, 215-592-9494. It's a day to react. We want to talk to as many callers as we can. Get on the line now, 215-592-9494. Coming up next, we'll get into all of it. Jalen, the coaching, A.J. Brown. I can't wait to hear what Rhea Hughes has to say about last night next. I'm sure she'll be rosy and positive.
The update's going to be full of positivity.
Yes, I may have been wrong about the positivity rabbit. I may have to eat the L on that one.